When my fiancé came to break off our engagement, she suddenly started hearing my thoughts. As expected of the female lead, she has a face you just want to take to bed. In an instant, the living room became terrifyingly silent. Why is no one talking? Oh, I get it. They're all waiting for my performance. My parents looked completely baffled. What performance? The next second, they saw me yank Shen Mian into my arms, and then I lowered my head. Mianer, my dear, are you here to see me? I knew it. My dear Mianer cares about me the most. Shen Mian froze on the spot as a voice echoed clearly in her ear. Do I really have to keep up this persona? Besides, Shen Mian hates being touched. She'll definitely despise me even more now. My family shot me a complicated look. I stayed bent over like that for several seconds, but Shen Mian still hadn't pushed me away. What's with this girl? Why isn't she pushing me away? In the script, isn't she supposed to be a total germaphobe around me? If I so much as touch her, she acts like she's grabbed a piece of crap. She'd have to scrub herself for 3 days and 3 nights. Seeing she had no reaction. To maintain my persona as a deeply infatuated love brain, I had no choice but to painstakingly continue hugging Shen Mian. My dear Mianer, I missed you so much. I missed you so much, my very heart aches for you. Why has my family gone mute? Shouldn't they be scolding me for being so shameless? My hand couldn't resist caressing Shen Mian's waist. I looked at her with a deeply affectionate expression. Not a bad figure. This waist feels so soft. That guy, Wu Ning, is one lucky man. I remember. I think there's a plotline where someone gets drugged. Maybe I should just take this chance to sleep with her. At least I'll get some enjoyment out of it. Shen Mian suddenly shoved me away, and I took the opportunity to collapse onto the floor. Clutching my arm, which was in a cast, I immediately began to wail. It hurts so much. Shen Mian's eye twitched. She instantly remembered the doctor's warning from that night. She instinctively glanced at my cast-covered arm. The next second, my voice echoed in her ear again. What if I just pass out right now? Could I get 100 or 200,000 in medical fees? No, that's too little. An amount like that doesn't fit her status as the young miss of the Shen family. It's got to be at least 7 figures. Shen Mian looked at me sitting on the floor, her mind racing to process everything. This fact that she could hear my inner thoughts. Just then, she looked up. She subtly glanced over at my family. Their faces were completely blank. Could it be that only I can hear his thoughts? But why? Why is Shen Mian just staring at me without saying anything? Didn't she come here to call off the engagement? Are we going to follow the script or not? If we don't get to the part where she breaks off the engagement soon, old Madam Shen is going to end up in the hospital. A glint flashed in Shen Mian's eyes. Get up first. I stayed on the floor, rubbing my arm. I can only get up if my dear Mianer gives me a hug. That ought to set her off, right? There should be distance between men and women. You should get up on your own. How ridiculous. Distance between men and women, with me? But in the script, when you and Wu Ning were rolling around in the sheets before you were even married. You didn't seem to think so then. On the couch, my family was about to burst out laughing. Is this really something they should be hearing? Fine, whatever. I understand, Sister Mianer. As I said that, I hauled myself up. Shen Mian was just about to speak when her phone suddenly started ringing. This is likely the call informing her that old lady Shen has been rushed to the hospital. That poor old woman really has a tragic fate. At her age, she's still stressing over the family business. Shen Mian's uncle is circling like a vulture, and the maid by the old lady's side has been tampering with her medicine every single day. It's all going to lead to a sudden heart attack. Shen Mian's hand tightened its grip on her phone instantly. She answered the call. Uncle Chen? What's happened? Xiao Mian. Get to the hospital quickly. The old lady just collapsed. Okay, she whispered, then hurried away. I was the only one left standing there with a twisted expression. She's just leaving? What about the whole breaking off the engagement plotline? As Shen Mian walked out, she shot me a look that said 1,000 words. I immediately put on a face of deep concern. But Shen Mian didn't say a word, leaving me there to question my entire existence. Turned back to look at my parents on the sofa. My father quickly buried his face in the newspaper. My mother picked up her teacup to take a sip. I thought to myself, better enjoy that newspaper while you can. Before long, the old man is going to end up in the ICU, and eventually, someone's going to pull his oxygen tube and let him suffocate to death. What a damn shame. My father's heart skipped a beat. My mother's hand shook so violently that the tea splashed right out of the cup. Mom, is the tea too hot? Drink up, drink up. Get your fill now. Soon enough, you'll be scavenging for scraps in the trash. My mother's head was spinning with confusion. Bai Shimeng had just finished seeing someone off and stepped back into the house. Only to hear her younger brother's gloating voice echoing in her mind. Especially you, big sister. To think that in the end, you actually. And then what? Why stop there? You're going to kill us with the suspense. The 3 of them in the living room were staring at me like hawks. Their curiosity was eating them alive. They were dying to just scream the question at me. But I walked straight into the dining room for breakfast. To keep eavesdropping on my inner thoughts. My mother, who had already eaten, followed me to the table. While I was happily enjoying my meal, I heard my father suddenly speak up. Shimeng, check in with your sisters and see when they're planning to come home. None of them ever stay home. Nianchu should be finished with her advanced studies by now. She should be back from overseas in the next day or two. I thought to myself, are they talking about my second sister, Nianchu? What a tragedy, my brilliant second sister. First, she's going to be framed for plagiarizing her thesis. Then she'll be dragged into that student suicide scandal, and her entire career will be flushed down the drain. Eventually, she'll fall into a deep depression and end it all by swallowing pills. By the time anyone finds her, the smell will be unbearable. My parents' eyes were burning with pure rage. Bai Shimeng shot a meaningful look at me while I sat there with my head down, eating. And she is currently busy with a serial killer case. I doubt she'll have time to come back. I took a sip of milk, acting like I didn't care at all, while thinking. Lin Yanqi, that twisted third sister of mine. The last time the original host was locked in the basement, it nearly traumatized me. Who would have thought that now, in everyone's eyes, she is the most promising and talented forensic pathologist, who will one day personally perform an autopsy on her own father, sister, and brother, becoming a criminal after being manipulated. She personally sent herself to prison. Bai Shimeng lowered her eyes. The hand she had on the table clenched slightly. I heard Xin Yue just joined a film crew. Last I heard, she was filming on location in the mountains. She probably doesn't have time to come back. My fourth sister's fate is the most tragic. After the Lin family went bankrupt, her career opportunities in the entertainment industry plummeted, and she was maliciously targeted by her rivals. She became a nobody in the industry, only to be noticed by a twisted tycoon. He locked her up and kept her like a pet. By the time she was found, she had already gone insane. And that twisted tycoon is the investor for this very series. Not a single person in the family had a good ending. What terrible karma did they accumulate? A flicker of worry uncontrollably appeared on father and mother Bai's faces. Is their family's fate really that tragic? They were worried I would see something. The two of them forced a calm expression. Take your time eating. Mom and dad have to get back to work, so we can't stay with you. After they left, Bai Shimeng remained seated. Her eyes were fixed on me from across the table, trying to see if I would reveal anything more. But after a while, I had finished eating and got up. Just said I had to go to the hospital for a checkup. And left, watching my cheerful back as I walked away. Bai Shimeng gave a knowing smile. It doesn't matter. She can take her time. She is determined to dig every last secret out of me. On the way to the hospital, I began to seriously review my mission progress. The moment I opened the mission page, I looked at the stats and smiled, satisfied. The mission is already halfway complete. Earning 30 billion to return to Blue Star is just around the corner. Then I scrolled down and, what the hell? Old Madam Shen's affection points are at 100? I'm completely speechless. System, what's the deal with this old Madam Shen? Her affection points are already maxed out, host. Old Madam Shen is just very fond of Bai Chuan. Why else would she want him as her grandson-in-law? The problem is, the original host did so many absurd things, turning the Bai and Shen families into the laughingstock of the capital. Host, for old Madam Shen's sake, would you like to change your strategy to farm affection points? I rejected the system's suggestion. Do I look like someone who tries to please people? Then I just told it to go offline. If I remember correctly, the original male lead from the book is supposed to visit old Madam Shen at the hospital. Talk about perfect timing. I'm definitely crashing this party. I'm going to do my best to disgust Shen Mian and her unforgettable love, and become a thorn in their side. Plus, I can make my presence known to the old madam. Killing 3 birds with 1 stone. When I found old Madam Shen's hospital room, Shen Mian was sitting by the bed, peeling fruit. Standing beside her was the original male lead, Wu Ning. The main couple, together in one frame. If I barge in and interrupt them now, I'll definitely rack up a lot of hate points, won't I? A familiar voice reached her ears, making Shen Mian's hand pause for a moment. I looked up at the bodyguard who was blocking the doorway, refusing to let me in. The bodyguard's scalp prickled with fear for a split second. I pointed right at my neck and screamed at the top of my lungs, "Me honor. My dear sister, help, they're trying to beat me to death." Everyone in the room turned to look at us all at once. The bodyguard, looking absolutely terrified, backed away 3 meters from me. "Mr. Bai, that's not what I meant. Don't you dare frame an innocent man. You guys were blocking me like a pack of savage beasts. What exactly were you trying to do?" Old Lady Shen, who was half reclining on the hospital bed, waved me over. "Oh, little Chuan is here. Come in, quickly." I strutted inside with a smug, arrogant swagger. I didn't forget to give them a triumphant, mocking smirk. Inside the room, Wu Ning was holding a glass of water, standing very close to Shen Mian. The two of them looked quite intimate. Wu Ning looked at me with a gentle, polite gaze. "Chuan is here. Come, have a seat over here." I glanced at the spot Wu Ning was pointing to. It was the seating area meant for visitors. It was quite a distance from Shen Mian and the old lady. "I'll sit wherever the hell I want. Mind your own business. This isn't your house." I thought to myself, I'm being such a rude jerk right now. Shen Mian and the old lady should be losing their tempers any second. Come on, get angry. Shen Mian went silent as she listened to my inner monologue. How could someone be so two-faced? I ignored whatever Shen Mian was thinking and walked over to shove Wu Ning aside. I squeezed right between them. "Me honor is my fiancé now. Can you keep your distance from someone who's already taken?" This is exactly how the original host used to act. If any man stepped within half a meter of Shen Mian, the original guy would treat him like a mortal enemy. And because of that behavior, Shen Mian absolutely loathed him. Wu Ning was caught off guard by the shove, and some of the water in his glass spilled out. He glanced at Shen Mian, but to his surprise, the girl who usually hated my guts didn't seem to mind me being close at all. "You've got it all wrong," he said. "I only see Shen Mian as a friend." "Oh, sure, friends first. Then a sister, and then eventually she becomes your little baby, right?" I muttered this while stealing a glance at Shen Mian, thinking to myself, "I'm being such a prick to you both. How can you still just sit there? Hurry up and yell at me. Or throw me out." Wu Ning was at a loss for words, so he looked at Shen Mian, begging for help with his eyes. But Shen Mian was still focused on carefully peeling her apple. Wu Ning felt even more dejected. "Then, what can I do to make you happy, Chuan? The very sight of you makes me miserable. If you had even a shred of self-awareness, you'd hide the moment you saw me. Get out of my sight." As I was spewing these insults, I kept peeking at Shen Mian, grumbling in my head. "Seriously, lady, how can you still be in the mood to peel an apple? Your man is about to have a breakdown from my verbal abuse. Stop peeling the apple, come and cut me instead." Shen Mian's forehead was practically covered in frustrated black lines. She sliced the peeled apple and handed it to old lady Shen. Seeing this, it suddenly dawned on me. The reason Shen Mian wasn't saying a word must be because she didn't dare defend Wu Ning in front of the old lady. This was her way of protecting him. Just another day of being moved by the lead's tragic love. "Wait, is the old lady hard of hearing? Didn't you hear what I just said? Don't just stand there. Come, sit here next to Grandma," old Mrs. Shen said, patting the space beside her. The old lady really does like me. The adoration in her eyes was impossible to miss. I snapped out of my thoughts, put on a huge grin, and immediately squeezed in next to Shen Mian. I then sat on the edge of the hospital bed. "Here, have a piece of apple." Old Mrs. Shen took the apple Shen Mian had just handed her and gave it to me instead. I, however, put on a shy expression. "I want the one my dear Mian is holding." Old Mrs. Shen looked over as well. Her gaze rested on the apple in Shen Mian's hand for a moment, before she lifted her eyes and stared intently at her. That look seemed to say that if Shen Mian didn't hand it over, the old lady was going to get upset. Shen Mian's face was blank. She reached out and handed it to me. I glanced over at the secretly heartbroken Wu Ning. I leaned in and took a bite right from Shen Mian's hand. My warm lips unexpectedly brushed against her fingertips. Shen Mian yanked her hand back as if she'd been scalded. Her expression darkened even more. "Bai Chuan, I'm warning you." I took the apple from my mouth and held it in my hand. Grinning, I looked at Wu Ning and took another bite. An apple peeled by my dear Mian is just the sweetest. Thinking that I'll get to eat this every day after we're married. I'm so happy. Old Mrs. Shen looked at the two of us, extremely pleased. "In that case, once you reach the legal age for marriage, Grandma will arrange the wedding for you. How does that sound?" I nodded shyly on the outside, but inside, I was secretly calculating. The legal age, doesn't that mean next year? I have to find a way to make Shen Mian completely fed up with me sooner. I have no desire to be the stepping stone in her relationship with Wu Ning. Shen Mian heard my inner thoughts. So, my real plan was to break off the engagement. Then why come and pester her, pretending to be so fond of her? What on earth is he up to? I didn't notice her staring. Munching on the apple, I schemed about how to make Shen Mian detest me more. I just went that far, and yet those two had barely any reaction. She didn't even defend Wu Ning. How am I supposed to continue this act? Maybe I should just lose it completely. Shen Mian heard my thoughts. Thinking about how her grandmother had just woken up, she worried I'd make a scene and not know when to stop. She grabbed my hand and pulled me out of the room. Old Mrs. Shen watched, looking at Shen Mian's dark expression. Worried she might bully me, she said, "You can't be mean to Xiao Chuan." Wu Ning's gaze fell on our joined hands. "Don't you worry, I'll go talk some sense into her." Shen Mian dragged me to the end of the corridor. She forcefully yanked me into the emergency stairwell. She was surprisingly strong. I looked around the stairwell. "My dear Mian, do you want to get me all alone?" Shen Mian's face was ice as she took a step back. Her voice held a note of warning. "In the past, I didn't care how you messed around. I could turn a blind eye. But my grandmother is sick now. If you're going to act up, do it somewhere far away. Don't you dare disturb her." I nodded, thinking to myself. So what she means is, next time I bully Wu Ning, I shouldn't do it in front of the old lady. That way, it won't be so hard for her to defend him. I was about to drive Shen Mian crazy. Why'd I always have to twist what people are saying? Well, now that Grandma isn't here, I can do whatever the hell I want, right? Without waiting for her to answer, I took another step forward. Shen Mian looked up, staring right at me. I thought to myself, Shen Mian's lips are actually really pretty. They look pretty kissable, too. Taking a little kiss shouldn't be a bad idea. Shen Mian rubbed her temples. Her pulse was already throbbing uncontrollably. Before this, she just thought I was reckless and brainless. Now she could add frivolous to that list. The voice in my head chimed in again. If Wu Ning sees you kissing her, man, when Shen Mian has to crawl back to him later during the regret arc, will her ashes just get scattered to the wind? If that happens, Shen Mian's hate for me, her disgust meter, will definitely hit the max instantly. And the mission will be complete. Here comes Wu Ning. Should I kiss her right now? This is my freaking first kiss, though. Wait, let me get into character first. I put on an eager, ready to go look. Shen Mian clenched her fists by her side, processing the inner thoughts she'd just heard. So, this boy in front of her, he's just using her as some kind of tool? Dropping her usual coldness, Shen Mian said, if you want to confirm our marriage status ahead of time. It's not impossible. I was completely floored. Are you sick or something? This is totally out of character for you. Who said anything about confirming a marriage? Shen Mian's eyes were clear and bright. Her warm fingertip pressed gently against my lips. Alarm bells started screaming in my head. How did she suddenly change her whole personality? I really want to snap that finger off. Shen Mian, get your paw off my mouth. Don't make me break character. Shen Mian listened to my suppressed thoughts. She suddenly realized that teasing me was actually quite fun. Bai Xiao, what I mean is, we can get married first. We'll get the certificate once you hit the legal age. This time, it was my turn to be silent. Did Shen Mian take the wrong meds? Wasn't she desperate to call off the engagement? Or did she have a fight with Wu Ning? Is she starting the torment the male lead plotline? On the surface, she agrees to marry me. But she's actually doing it to trigger Wu Ning and push their relationship forward. The classic, angsty romance, trope, she's got it down to a science. I guess I really can't escape my fate of being a stepping stone for your romance. Right? Well, screw that. I immediately looked at Shen Mian with eyes full of devotion. Fine, we can get married. You have to kiss me right now. I wanted to see just how far you'd go to make Wu Ning jealous. Shen Mian suddenly gave a low chuckle. Meeting my increasingly terrified gaze, she slowly tilted her head up. But right then, Wu Ning, who was hiding outside, finally couldn't take it anymore. He burst through the door. Grandma told you not to bully Xiaochuan. Wu Ning's appearance made Shen Mian stop her testing. But even so, from Wu Ning's angle, it looked exactly like they were kissing. His face went deathly pale, a sliver of deep-seated resentment hidden in his eyes. I took the chance to push Shen Mian away. She had already reverted to her usual cold, aloof self. He gave the wounded-looking Wu Ning a cool glance. Is whispering secrets with my fiancé considered bullying now? Those words stabbed into Wu Ning's heart like a knife, making him instinctively clutch his chest. I raised an eyebrow, thinking to myself. I was right, those two must have had a fight. Well then, allow me to help you make this misunderstanding even bigger. The next second, I intimately draped my arm over Shen Mian's shoulder. I looked smugly at Wu Ning. Young Master Wu, it's really rude to interrupt a young couple's private moment. Wu Ning looked at Shen Mian with a wounded expression, then clenched his fists and forced out a few words. I was the one who interrupted. My apologies. After saying that, he turned and left. I said, Shen Mian, aren't you going to go after him? Shen Mian glanced indifferently at the departing figure, then coldly removed my hand. He walked straight out, leaving me behind. I thought to myself, Shen Mian was right about one thing. Old Mrs. Shen is still a patient. I have to be considerate of her health. I'll just find another chance later to raise the old lady's aversion level. I muttered to myself as I walked towards the hospital room, and after saying goodbye to the old lady, I went straight back to the Bai family home. As soon as I walked in the door, I saw a woman with a gentle and graceful aura standing in the living room, looking at me with a half smile. I heard you got into trouble again, third sister. I've been on my best behavior this whole time. I haven't caused any trouble. I stood in my spot, recognizing the woman before me in a single glance. It was my third sister, Bai Yanqi. She just turned 25 this year. She was already a hotshot in the world of forensic science. And just like the other young ladies of the Bai family, Bai Yanqi had delicate features and a sexy figure. Her every move carried the air of a lady from a prestigious family. When it came to the looks of my sisters in the Bai family, I was quite confident. I thought to myself, during breakfast this morning, my eldest sister said she was following up on a serial murder case. How did she get home so quickly? Oh, I remember now. It seems the police found a new victim. So they transferred Bai Yanqi back. What Bai Yanqi could never imagine is that the suspect they're about to catch is just a scapegoat. Bai Yanqi took a sip of coffee, her expression unchanging, silently listening to my inner voice. It wasn't a delusion. That voice belongs to Bai Chuan. And she wasn't mistaken. I hadn't opened my mouth at all. So, this is my inner voice? But how could she hear her younger brother's thoughts? Could it be that she has been too exhausted recently, and something's wrong with her body? Bai Yanqi thought to herself, feeling that she should probably go to the hospital for a checkup before returning to her post. She wasn't sure if the problem was with her or with me. Bai Yanqi glanced sideways, sizing me up as I still stood in the entranceway, only to feel the auditory hallucinations getting worse. The top priority now was that she had to make a trip to the hospital. After sending me away, Bai Yanqi immediately headed out, only to run into Bai Shimeng, who had just returned. Why are you back? The bureau temporarily transferred me back. I figured I'd come home and see mom and dad. It's almost dinner time, and you're leaving again? I'm making a trip to the hospital. Bai Yanqi still felt that something was wrong with her and decided to consult a doctor first. As the eldest sister, Bai Shimeng had always taken great care of her younger siblings at home. Bai Yanqi frowned, finally deciding to reveal the fact that she could hear my inner voice. She spoke up, I guess I just haven't been resting well lately. It's probably nothing serious, let's not go just yet. You aren't the only one in this house who can hear him, Bai Yanqi said, her face full of shock. No way, you can hear him too? Bai Yanqi took off her glasses and pinched the bridge of her aching nose. At this rate, she couldn't exactly say the whole family was going crazy, could she? After a moment, Bai Yanqi finally voiced her confusion. What on earth is going on? How should I know? Bai Shimeng leaned against the car. I've realized his inner thoughts are actually quite reliable. For instance, I just did a sweep at the company, and there really were a few people who were intentionally planted by my side. I just hadn't uncovered them yet. Realizing there were hidden threats right next to her, she had come back to see if she could get any clues from his heart. Bai Yanqi suddenly remembered the thought she had just ignored. She hadn't even told the family she'd been transferred back yet. How did he know? And how did he know the police found new human remains? The police hadn't even released a public notice yet. How on earth did he find out? Bai Yanqi's final thoughts drifted back to what I had said in my mind. That the criminal they caught was just a scapegoat. Did you find something out from his thoughts? Bai Shimeng explained everything. Bai Yanqi narrowed her eyes. She thought for a moment, looking pensive. It's no use just thinking about it here. Why don't we wait and see if what he's thinking actually matches up with reality? Bai Yanqi felt her eldest sister had a point. When the parents returned and saw their third daughter who hadn't been home in months, they immediately went to the kitchen to cook themselves. I had shut myself in my room to sleep since I got back, but now a servant woke me up. I headed downstairs, eyes half closed. Hey, big sis. Looking at the food on the table, which clearly wasn't made by the nanny, I scoffed inwardly. The only people who could get mom and dad to cook personally were the sisters. A son who was lost for over 10 years and finally came home. Never got this kind of treatment. These words made mom and dad feel instantly awkward. I thought to myself, I was lost since I was a kid, so it's natural we don't have a bond. It's fine if they don't care. It's actually better this way. I don't really feel anything for this family anyway, so I don't have to worry about them later. Besides, I'm starting to understand why the original owner of this body was so rebellious. All that acting out, it was probably just because he wanted his family to notice him more. In front of outsiders, he was arrogant and overbearing. He constantly showed off his status as the young master of the Bai family just to tell people that his family loved him. He just went about it the wrong way. Hearing my inner thoughts, mom and dad lowered their heads in shame. As if trying to make it up to me, mom placed a piece of lobster meat on my plate. I frowned, looking at mom with a hurt expression. I'm allergic to seafood, don't you remember? Mom's hand froze in midair, looking completely lost. She didn't even know her own son couldn't eat seafood. Mom just got busy and confused, she said, before placing a piece of beef on my plate instead. I thought to myself, what are they so confused about? It's because they never cared at all. Thanks, Mom. I was puzzled. What's gotten into the Bai family today? Suddenly being so nice to me. This beef can't be poisoned, can it? The other 4 people at the table fell silent, seeing me staring at the beef in my bowl without moving. Bai Yanqi simply picked up a piece and popped it in her mouth. I thought to myself, she ate it, so that means it's not poisoned. Then, I started eating with satisfaction. Mother Bai secretly breathed a sigh of relief. But she felt even worse inside. Bai Yanqi's phone chimed with a ding. She casually opened the voice message. It was a colleague telling her to get back as soon as possible. There was a new development in the case. I pricked up my ears and listened. But I muttered to myself, they must have found new human remains. But they still haven't found the victim's head, so they can't confirm the deceased's identity. Actually, the head is hidden in the tea garden not far from the body parts. There's an abandoned well there. The killer sank the head into the water with a rock. Bai Yanqi remained silent, her long, slender fingers tapping on the screen. She wanted to see if my inner thoughts had any credibility. Meanwhile, Shen Mian had just returned to the apartment she lived in alone when she received a call from a good friend. Things you sent over do indeed contain substances harmful to the body. The dosage isn't high, but I'm worried something might happen with long-term use. My advice is to stop taking it immediately. I know. After hanging up the phone, her mind kept replaying my cheerful appearance and my inner thoughts. At first, she hadn't paid any attention to my inner voice. But after getting the call that her grandmother had fainted and been hospitalized, a trace of suspicion grew in her heart. Just for peace of mind, she took the supplements her grandmother usually ate and had them all tested. Unexpectedly, there was actually a problem. How did Bai Chuan know that the supplements grandma was eating had been tampered with? Calling the mission I mentioned at the hospital today. You've certainly made me a little curious. After dinner, I said goodbye to my family and went upstairs to my room. The moment I plopped onto my bed, my phone started ringing. I picked it up and saw it was a call from someone saved as Wang Shanbin. As soon as I answered the call, deafening music blasted from the other end. Along with a guy's voice, Sun Jian and I are at Nightscape Bar right now. Miss Zhang from the Zhang family came back from abroad today. You wanna come? I heard this Zhang Yanshu and Shen Mian have been close friends since they were kids. Maybe Shen Mian will come later, too. If it were the original owner of this body, they probably would have already rushed out of the room upon hearing Shen Mian's name. But I just narrowed my eyes and lazily rolled over in bed. I'm not coming. The injury on my hand hasn't healed yet. I can't drink. You guys have fun. After saying that, I hung up the phone directly, thinking to myself. They use the same excuse every time. Don't they find it boring? Only that idiot, the original owner, upon hearing the name, Shen Mian, would rush over like a dog that's seen shit. In the end, wasn't I the one who paid every single time we went out? The Wang Shanbin who just called is one of the people in the original owner's circle of friends. His family runs a decent-sized company, so they're pretty well off. But compared to the Shen and Bai families, they're practically nothing. Besides Wang Shanbin, there was another guy named Sun Jian. They were friends the original owner of this body met at school after returning to the Bai family. On the surface, these two were all buddy-buddy, calling him brother, but in reality, they just treated him like a human ATM. Wang Shanbin had always been desperate to squeeze into high society. Anywhere those top-tier wealthy heirs went, he'd be right there, but social circles have their own hierarchies. Given their family backgrounds, Wang Shanbin and Sun Jian could never reach the true elite. After hitting dead ends everywhere, they finally stumbled upon that sucker, the original owner. With me, the young master of the Bai family, now in the picture, Wang Shanbin and Sun Jian lured the original soul out many times. They used him to get close to a few rich playboys. I can only say the original guy was way too stupid. He couldn't see their true intentions at all. It honestly makes me so frustrated. More money than brains, that perfectly describes the original owner. I mean, the Bai parents gave the original guy 300,000 in allowance every month. Yet this dude had less than 5,000 left in his account. With 2 vampires bleeding him dry. Of course he'd be broke. Well, starting today, if they can swindle even a single cent out of me, I'll consider it my loss. After finishing my little rant, I felt a bit thirsty. I got up, grabbed a glass, and headed downstairs for water. Just as I reached the living room, I saw the 4 people on the sofa staring straight at me. I thought to myself, what's going on? Are they plotting something shady behind my back? As if he'd been caught red-handed, Father Bai cleared his throat. He casually picked up his thermos and took a sip of goji berry water. Mother Bai forced a smile and asked, why aren't you asleep yet? I held up the glass in my hand. Just came down for some water. Dad, Mom, and sisters, why aren't you guys resting yet? Bai Yanqi leaned back on the sofa and said, the grown-ups are discussing things. Kids should go to bed. I filled my glass, then slowly headed upstairs, wishing I could look back every 3 steps. I wanted to see what they were keeping from me. When I reached the corner of the stairs, I quietly leaned against the railing and strained my ears to eavesdrop. Let's hear it. Are they talking smack about me behind my back again? I embarrassed myself so much in front of Shen Mian today, yet they didn't even scold me. There's definitely something fishy going on. In the living room, the group who could hear my inner thoughts all stayed silent in a weirdly coordinated way, and instead, started asking about Bai Yanqi's work. I listened for a while but found it boring. So, I went back to my room, disinterested. Once they heard the door close, the people in the living room finally let out a sigh of relief. Bai Yanqi stared at her phone. According to his inner voice, we really did find it in that abandoned well. We found the victim's head. As she finished speaking, the entire living room fell into a dead silence. Bai Shimeng spoke slowly. So, his inner thoughts can actually predict what will happen in the future. And at the same time, he knows how all of us will end up. Mother Bai looked panicked. Does that mean, we really are going to lose everything and our family will be destroyed, just like his thoughts said? Bai Shimeng gently patted Mother Bai's hand. Don't worry. Since we can hear our little brother's inner thoughts, we can prevent things. Those things that are about to happen, we can change the outcome. Bai Shimeng seemed to have thought of something else. We all misunderstood him before. Some things, maybe they aren't at all what we thought they were. It's just that no one was patient with him. Everyone thought it was his fault. From now on, we need to be more patient with him. Inside the Nightfall bar, Wang Shanbin stared at the disconnected call, a hint of annoyance on his face. Since when did he become so hard to get a hold of? Miss Zhang is still waiting in the private room. Sun Jian's expression turned to panic. Xing, what do we do? We've already taken the money, what's there to panic about? He broke his hand a while ago. Just tell Miss Zhang that in a bit. Worst case, we'll just ask him out again when school starts. In the blink of an eye, summer vacation was over. I had been pretty well behaved during this time, not setting a foot outside the main door. I didn't go anywhere, just stayed at home to recover. But when I suggested going back to school for the new semester, both Father Bai and Mother Bai looked at me strangely. Your hand hasn't healed yet. Don't be in such a hurry to go back to school. Rest at home for a while longer. I've already missed so many classes. If I don't go back soon, I won't be able to keep up. I said with utmost sincerity, wearing an expression of someone who loved to study. But inside, I was thinking, if I don't go to school, how am I supposed to pester Shen Mian? How am I supposed to rack up disgust points? I will absolutely not give Shen Mian and Wu Ning any space to be alone. I'm going to become a walking disaster and make their lives a living hell. By then, Shen Mian will definitely hate my guts, and the disgusto-meter will be maxed out. In the end, Father Bai still sent a driver to take me back to school. I'm a sophomore this year, in the College of Arts at the Medical University. Because Shen Mian was here, my past self would have moved heaven and earth just to get in. Even though my past self wasn't much, with that face and the Bai family throwing money around, I still managed to get into this school. After dumping my luggage in the dorm room, I couldn't wait to go find Shen Mian. I thought to myself, it's been over a week since we've seen each other. I've missed you so much. The previously silent system suddenly piped up, host. You mean you miss the 30 billion, right? I put on a smug face. If you know, then don't say it out loud. As it turned out, just as I left the dorm building, came face to face with Shen Mian and another girl, walking this way with Wu Ning. I immediately changed my demeanor. Wu Ning, have you no shame? Why are you always pestering my fiancé? My voice was very loud, instantly drawing the gazes of the students around us. Shen Mian, your personal disaster has arrived again. Shen Mian's friend had a look of pure schadenfreude on their face as I stormed over furiously. I snatched the things from Shen Mian's hands and threw them on the ground. You're not allowed to carry things for him. Then, I turned menacingly towards Wu Ning. I've warned you before, stay away from my fiancé. Wu Ning clenched his fists, looking at Shen Mian as if he was the one being terribly wronged. I struck an arrogant pose, thinking to myself, making a huge scene on the very first day of school, at this rate. Shen Mian must hate me even more now. I watched as she reached out and gave me a sudden pull backward. My eyes were glittering with excitement. What? Here it comes. I was already mentally prepared for my next performance. But to my surprise, Shen Mian wasn't angry at all. Instead, she knelt down and picked up the bag I had just slammed on the ground. I thought to myself, what the heck is in that bag? Gold bars or something? Is it more important than your future husband? Shouldn't she be acting like she used to? Calling me unreasonable and then heartlessly declaring she wants to break off our engagement? Shen Mian slowly stood up, listening to my constant, noisy mental chatter. If her mental state were any weaker, she probably would have completely lost it by now. This is from Grandma, she said, handing the bag over to me. Completely lost my cool. How am I supposed to keep acting after this? I was so focused on farming hate points just now that I didn't even notice what it was. I just jumped to conclusions and assumed she was helping Wu Ning pick up his things. My mind was racing, trying to figure out my next move. Wu Ning, watching the scene from the side, stepped forward. This is a gift Grandma carefully picked out for you. Even if you don't like it, you shouldn't just throw it on the ground. I was still trying to figure out how to keep this charade going. After hearing Wu Ning's loaded words, I almost couldn't help giving the guy a thumbs up. Then I immediately turned my fire on him. Whether I throw it or not is none of your business. Why don't you mind your own business and stay away from my fiancé? Listening to my increasingly reckless words, even though she knew I was doing it for some mission, Shen Mian still frowned slightly. For some reason, she didn't want me to keep going like this and ruining my own image. So, before I could open my mouth again, she dragged me away from the scene. Wu Ning didn't expect her to just take me and leave. For a moment, he couldn't figure out what Shen Mian's actual attitude toward me was. On the other side, Shen Mian was pulling me toward a more secluded spot. Why are you dragging me away? Are you trying to protect him? We're the ones who are engaged. I shook her hand off. Then I started laying into her. I remembered that Shen Mian hated it when people kept bringing up the marriage. But after waiting a while, there was still no response from her. I thought, why isn't she reacting? If I'd known, I would have eaten something first. Man, I'm starving. My internal complaining was loud enough to give her a headache. Stop causing trouble for Wu Ning. I almost cried tears of joy. Ever since I crossed over, this lady in front of me has finally given me a reaction. I quickly snapped back into character. I immediately put on a look of utter heartbreak and looked at Shen Mian. So you really do have feelings for that guy. Then what am I to you? What does our engagement even mean? You're going to protect him, aren't you? Then let me tell you this clearly, as long as we're still engaged, Wu Ning won't have a single moment of peace. Starting today, if I ever see him hanging around you, I'll make his life a living hell. Unless you break off the engagement. Without giving her a chance to say a word, I turned and stormed off with a look of righteous fury. Today's mission is over. My performance just now must have been flawless. I totally baffled Shen Mian. I'll get back to it after I've had a proper meal. Gotta work towards that early retirement. Shen Mian stood rooted to the spot, listening to my inner thoughts being broadcast. She was starting to regret not calling off the engagement directly that day. And her decision to play along with this charade. After I was a good distance away, Shen Mian glanced down at the object in her hand and, in the end, could only let out a helpless sigh. She turned and walked off in the opposite direction. After she had gone, a figure furtively peeked out from the bushes. It was Lin Xiangwei. He then opened WeChat to send a message to Wu Ning. "Quick, check out the video I just sent you." Ever since witnessing Shen Mian pull me away, Wu Ning had been growing more and more anxious. He had always believed that he was special to Shen Mian. Even though he was just an orphan fostered by the Shen family, they had known each other since they were children. Even though Shen Mian hadn't been with the Shen family for 15 of the past 18 years, Wu Ning was still firmly convinced that he was someone special to her. Upon hearing a notification ping, he picked up his phone, opened WeChat, and saw the message from Lin Xiangwei. He was about to ignore it, but then another message popped up in the chat window. "Shen Mian is still on your side." Seeing these words, Wu Ning immediately tapped on the chat and saw the video Lin Xiangwei had sent. When he heard Shen Mian telling me not to bother him anymore, the corners of his mouth turned up in an unconscious smile. He even replayed Shen Mian's words several times before saving the video clip. He thought to himself, "I knew it. Shen Mian does care about me." I sprinted all the way to the cafeteria, and after getting my food, I happily found an empty seat and sat down. Just as I picked up my chopsticks, the back of my head was suddenly shoved forward. "Heard you were causing trouble for Wu Ning again today?" A provocative voice came from behind. I turned my head to look. Sometime while I wasn't looking, a group of 5 or 6 people had gathered behind me. It was a mix of guys and girls, and they were all glaring at me with ill intent. The leader was a petite girl with a head of curly hair. She had ear piercings and the whole look of a delinquent. Zhang Rong, the 9th child of the Zhang family from the capital. In the original novel, she's Wu Ning's most loyal simp. The original owner of this body was afraid of Zhang Rong, but I'm not. If you have something to say, spit it out. If not, get lost. Zhang Rong stared at me in disbelief. The person who, upon seeing her, would usually cower like a mouse before a cat, was actually daring to use that tone with her. I had no time for these people, so I turned back around and focused on my meal. I had just popped a piece of braised pork rib into my mouth when someone violently flipped my tray. The food scattered all over the table and the floor, with quite a bit of the soup splashing onto my clothes. "Hey, I was talking to you. What's with the attitude?" I remained in my seat, chopsticks still in hand. For someone who loves food and was starving to death, that rage was equivalent to detonating a bomb. Even though I appeared perfectly calm on the outside, the system knew all too well that this was the calm before my storm. Zhang Rong slammed a hand on the table. "Are you deaf? I'm talking to you." I took a deep breath, trying to hold it in, then threw down my chopsticks. "Model." I slowly looked up to meet Zhang Rong's eyes. As our gazes locked, Zhang Rong's heart skipped a beat. Those eyes that were once filled with terror and anxiety had been replaced by a cold, sharp intensity. If she didn't look exactly the same, Zhang Rong would have thought she was looking at a complete stranger. "If you want to talk, let's go somewhere else." Zhang Rong glanced around. She figured some things really shouldn't be said in public, so she led me toward the school assembly hall. That place was usually deserted, making it the perfect hideout for Zhang Rong and her gang of thugs. Did I or did I not tell you to show Wu Ning some respect? Stop looking for trouble with him. Walking ahead of me, Zhang Rong came to a sudden halt. As she spoke, the others had already surrounded me. They all had these nasty smirks on their faces. I just raised an eyebrow. "You did say that, and then what?" Zhang Rong's eyes widened. "You have the nerve to ask me, and then? Was the last lesson too easy? Did you already forget my warning?" I let out a cold laugh. "Funny. From what I've heard, Zhang Rong, you're nothing but a pathetic, loyal little simp. If you actually had any guts, why haven't you just made him yours yet? Oh, wait, I almost forgot. Wu Ning is so obsessed with my fiancé that he doesn't even know you exist." I was deliberately trying to rile her up, and sure enough, Zhang Rong's face turned even uglier. In the entire capital, everyone knows Shen Mian and I are engaged. But Wu Ning just won't back off. "Shut your mouth." Zhang Rong raised her hand, ready to slap me. "Touch him, and see what happens." Shen Mian stepped out from the shadows. Zhang Rong's fist froze in midair. When she turned to look at Shen Mian, her eyes were full of resentment and stubbornness. I just blinked. I was a bit surprised. Why was Shen Mian here? As she walked toward us, the group surrounding me instinctively backed away. Shen Mian walked straight up to me. She wanted to see if I was okay. I started grumbling to myself. Why did she have to show up? I was just about to teach these idiots a lesson. Great, now I have to stay in character. Hearing my inner thoughts, Shen Mian felt relieved. But hearing how annoyed I sounded, she didn't know whether to laugh or be mad. She was so worried about me getting bullied that she'd rushed over without even drying her hair. And instead of a "thank you," she gets nothing but attitude. Zhang Rong hadn't expected Shen Mian to show up. She pulled her hand back. She stared intently at Shen Mian. In that split second, my mind raced, and I instantly ducked behind Shen Mian. I grabbed onto the back of her shirt. Shen Mian, you're finally here. If you'd been any later, you'd be planning my funeral. This Zhang Rong person is working for Wu Ning. You see now, right? She's a total backstabber. She acts all sweet and innocent in front of you, but then she corners me like this. My mouth was going like a machine gun, but my mind was even busier. Perfect. Another chance to trash talk Wu Ning to Shen Mian. I'm working so hard here. Shen Mian, you just hate me, don't you? Shen Mian stayed silent, showing no sign of wanting to interrupt me. But Zhang Rong, hearing me frame Wu Ning like that, turned to Shen Mian. He's just talking nonsense. I'm the one who can't stand him. It has nothing to do with Wu Ning. I stood right behind Shen Mian. Coldly, I repeated Zhang Rong's words. It has nothing to do with Wu Ning. Such devotion, it really is impressive. Haven't you ever heard the saying? A simp will stay a simp until they're left with absolutely nothing. Why are you acting so heartbroken? You do all of this. But has Wu Ning ever even looked your way? You're a simp and you don't even know it. My words sent Zhang Rong into a blind rage. Ignoring the fact that Shen Mian was right there, she swung her hand to slap me. Shen Mian's eyes darkened. She reached out and grabbed her wrist. Coming from an elite, powerful family, Shen Mian carried a natural aura of authority. When Zhang Rong met her gaze, her arrogance vanished instantly. She tried to pull her hand back, but found that Shen Mian's grip was too strong. She couldn't break free. Shen Mian, you and Wu Ning have known each other since you were kids. You know exactly what kind of person he is. How can you just let him be slandered like this? What does that have to do with me? Shen Mian shoved Zhang Rong's hand away. Zhang Rong clutched her aching wrist. Wu Ning loves you. Can't you see that? If you actually cared about him, you'd call off this engagement. Don't let Wu Ning's sincere feelings be trampled on. Mind your own business. And don't let me catch you messing with Bai Chuan ever again. Shen Mian pulled me along as we left the hall. Zhang Rong watched the two of us walk away, and in a fit of rage, she kicked over a nearby table. Gritting her teeth, she put out the word. Anyone who brings me photos or videos of Bai Chuan being tormented will get paid. 2 days later, I changed into a set of black casual clothes. Wearing a baseball cap, I arrived outside a bar. This was where Zhang Rong and her wealthy friends loved to spend their time. I paid off one of the waiters to send a message to Zhang Rong, lying that Wu Ning wanted to meet her in the back alley. After waiting for 7 minutes, the sky grew dark. The light in the alley behind the bar was dim. I leaned against the wall with one hand in my pocket. The street light above me flickered on. Before long, the sound of hurried footsteps approached. A slight smirk touched my lips. I reached up and pulled my cap lower. Are you the person the waiter mentioned? Zhang Rong walked up alone and stopped about 2 or 3 meters away from me. She looked me up and down, suspicious of my all-black outfit. Who are you? Why would Wu Ning send you? I intentionally lowered my voice. If I didn't say that, how else would I lure you out here? Zhang Rong looked confused for a second, then it finally clicked. You want me? I straightened my posture. My arm in the cast was hidden inside my oversized jacket, while my other hand stayed in my pocket. I tilted my head toward Zhang Rong, my voice dripping with provocation. That's right, I want you. Facing this person whose face she couldn't see, and whose identity was a mystery, she listened to the taunting words. Zhang Rong scoffed. Do you have any idea who I am? You must have a death wish, coming here to pick a fight. But I just nonchalantly said, oh, Wu Ning's little simp, who else could you be? Before Zhang Rong could retort, I added, a loyal simp, that's right. Although Zhang Rong had never denied her one-sided crush on Wu Ning. Because in her eyes, everything she did was just her way of expressing her feelings for him. But for some reason, hearing the person in front of her call her a simp, an inexplicable rage erupted from deep within Zhang Rong. She threw a punch and charged forward. You're dead. This was exactly the effect I was going for. Seeing that she was already provoked, and that the irrational Zhang Rong had lost her senses, I easily dodged her flailing fist and reached out to catch the hand that had just brushed past my ear. As a member of the Zhang family, Zhang Rong had undergone extensive training since she was a child and was a very skilled fighter. Yet, right now, I had effortlessly dodged her attack. Not giving her a chance to react, I immediately backhanded her. The tremendous impact and pain made Zhang Rong's mind go completely blank. Her body tumbled sideways with the momentum. Weren't you being so arrogant? So why can't you get up now, just like a dog? Zhang Rong looked up and glared viciously at the person before her, straining to see their face clearly. At this moment, her mind was filled with nothing but their taunt about her being like a dog. She lowered her eyes, her expression dark. From the corner of her eye, she glanced toward the wall beside her and saw several empty bottles lying there. Her fury escalating, Zhang Rong first grabbed a helmet off the ground and hurled it at me. Then she snatched an empty bottle and charged. I ducked to avoid the thrown helmet, and right after, saw Zhang Rong bringing the bottle down on me. I instinctively raised my other hand to block. The bottle shattered against my cast. Something flashed through Zhang Rong's mind, but before she could grasp the thought, another kick landed on her stomach. She stumbled backward again and again, and the fleeting thought from a moment ago vanished completely. So you do have hands, huh? I thought you were a cripple. I brushed the broken glass from my sleeve, listening to Zhang Rong's taunt. I can beat you like a dog with just one hand. Zhang Rong cursed in fury. Without another word, she charged at me again. In the dim alley, the sounds of fighting and anguished cries echoed continuously. After a flurry of fighting sounds died down, only the woman's wailing was left. I planted my foot on Zhang Rong's stomach and, as she cried out in pain, I leaned down. The dim, yellow light revealed half of my face, but by this point, Zhang Rong was completely dazed from the beating. She couldn't make out who was in front of her at all. This is just a small lesson for you today. If you ever harass Wu Ning again, I'll beat you every single time I see you. Deliberately dropped that meaningful threat and then swaggered away. With the system's help, I avoided the range of all nearby surveillance. And hailed a cab to go back to school. Just as I was about to tell the driver the destination, I noticed that the cast I had just gotten replaced was cracked again. To the hospital. At the hospital, I faced the doctor with an embarrassed smile. I really didn't get in a fight. I held up 3 fingers, swearing again with a look of utmost sincerity. As I was making my promise, the doctor used tweezers to pull out a small piece of broken glass. I immediately shut up. The doctor looked at me with a helpless expression. You don't want your hand to heal, do you? A few more times like this, and you can forget about it healing properly. I just accidentally fell off my bike this time. The doctor gave me a look that said, you really think I believe that? I had no choice but to shut my mouth and stop talking. After the doctor finished resetting my cast, amidst a series of reminders, I nodded and bowed my way out of the treatment room. I hurried towards the elevator and came face to face with Bai Shimeng. She was helping a man in a business suit walk out. The 2 siblings' eyes met. What are you doing here? They both said in unison. The man standing beside Bai Shimeng looked back and forth between the 2 of them with a confused expression. And this is. Bai Shimeng pulled her hand back from supporting him and then pulled me aside. You should be at school at this hour. What are you doing in the hospital? I blinked. My stomach was feeling a bit upset. So I came to the hospital to get some medicine. Bai Shimeng seemed a bit suspicious. She was about to ask something else when she heard my inner thoughts. The man my sister was just helping. He must be the mole planted by her arch-nemesis. Bai Shimeng discreetly glanced at the man, her secretary. Before Bai Shimeng could decide what to say, she heard a strange noise. The 2 siblings looked toward the sound, just in time to see a figure duck into the stairwell. Bai Shimeng frowned. You wait here. Then she walked straight over there. I obediently stayed where I was. Looks like someone's stirring up trouble again, I thought. Let's see what kind of scheme they're pulling this time. Hearing my inner voice, Bai Shimeng was a little confused, but she still went to the stairwell to take a look. Seeing that the person was already gone, she had no choice but to turn around and come back. Afterward, she called an assistant to stay with her secretary, while she drove me back to school herself. On the way, Bai Shimeng tried to find an opportunity several times to ask about the secretary, but to avoid revealing that she could hear my thoughts. She had to give up. The car stopped at the school gate. I opened the car door and jumped out. It's getting late. You should head home. With that, I ran off without a second glance. Back in the men's dorm, I sweet-talked the dorm matron into letting me in. After quickly washing up, I climbed into bed and passed out, completely unaware that the internet had already exploded. Shen Mian was woken up by a WeChat notification. She opened the app. Wu Ning's chat immediately popped to the top. Shen Mian, quick, check Weibo. I think Bai Chuan is in trouble. Seeing this message, Shen Mian was suddenly wide awake. She quickly opened Weibo, and the first thing she saw was the trending topic and photo on the main feed. Fiancé of a certain socialite seen at hospital late at night with a woman. Suspected abortion. Below this trending headline was a side profile shot of a man and a woman. In the photo, my side profile was clearly visible. Meanwhile, Bai Shimeng was standing in the shadows, and the photo's exposure made her face a bit blurry. Despite that, it didn't stop netizens from all sorts of speculation. There were already tens of thousands of comments under the post. Shen Mian is probably the first woman in history to have her reputation completely destroyed by association before even getting married. Wu Ning scrolled through the online comments. A smile he couldn't hide appeared in his eyes as he thought to himself. If word of this gets to old Mrs. Shen, she'll surely grow to despise Bai Chuan. Wu Ning opened his chat with Shen Mian. This thing online has gotten pretty big. Grandma probably already knows. You should go find Bai Chuan first. I'll head home and help you keep Grandma calm. On the other end of the line, Shen Mian stared at the photo, her face expressionless. She couldn't even be bothered to open the comments section. She exited Weibo directly and saw the WeChat message from Wu Ning. She replied with 3 words, stay out of it. The moment the notification chimed, Wu Ning immediately opened it. Seeing those 3 cold words, he actually smiled with satisfaction. He didn't care what Shen Mian's reply was. As long as she replied, it proved she had seen what was online. And in that case, Shen Mian would surely continue to despise Bai Chuan, just like she always had. Meanwhile, I was still fast asleep. when I was woken up by a relentless barrage of phone calls. I pried one eye open, annoyed. Seeing it was an unknown number, I hung up without a second thought. But the person on the other end was persistent and called again. Who the hell is this? What are you calling me for? Are you insane? I snapped as I answered the phone, my eyes barely open. The other end of the line went silent for a moment. A few seconds later, a furious, exasperated voice shot back. Bai Chuan, you mean you didn't even save my number? That yell chased away most of my sleepiness. I held the phone in front of my face and took a look. A system voice echoed in my head, telling me this was my fourth sister, Bai Xinyue's, phone number. I've always been grumpy when I wake up, and I don't care who I'm talking to. Is your phone number a bank password? If it's not, why should I have to memorize it? Didn't your mother teach you that calling over and over is incredibly rude? When someone hangs up, it means they're not free to talk. I let her have it without holding back. My tirade apparently stunned Bai Xinyue on the other end. Do you have any idea who you're talking to? I'm your fourth sister, Bai Xinyue. Can you please stop dragging the Bai family's name through the mud? You're not some bumpkin from the countryside anymore. Can't you act with a little more decency? Go on Weibo and see what a mess you've made. Of the four sisters in the Bai family, Bai Xinyue was the one who despised me the most. That's why she never held back. She'd say whatever was most hurtful. I was already pissed off from being woken up. Now Bai Xinyue was calling to chew me out without even knowing the facts. That pushed my anger to its breaking point. As I listened to her continue to curse me out on the other end, I fought back my rage, sat up, and opened Weibo to see what on earth this was all about. When I saw the photo of me and Bai Shimeng at the hospital, I immediately remembered that sneaky figure from last night. I'd already noticed someone was secretly taking photos back then, so I deliberately turned to the side to let them get a clearer shot. After all, my mission is to rack up disgust points. It doesn't matter what they do with the photos. For my purposes, it's all helpful. But even so, when it comes to people like Bai Xinyue who don't bother to investigate the truth and just pin all the blame on me, I was still pissed, so I yelled right back at Bai Xinyue. Is your brain not working? Or are you just blind? You can't even recognize my own sister in the photo. You should go get your eyes checked. I hung up without hesitation and immediately blocked Bai Xinyue's number. Then I turned off my phone. Fuming, I threw it onto the quilt. That's when I noticed someone else was in the dorm. Wu Jing was standing awkwardly by the door. His hand was still on the doorknob. He was wearing a pair of faded jeans. The collar of his t-shirt was also stretched out of shape. You could tell he'd had these clothes for a long time. My gaze traveled down, finally landing on Wu Jing's pair of sneakers, which were almost worn through. Maybe my stare was too obvious. Wu Jing subconsciously pulled his foot back and walked silently toward the empty bunk. I looked away, having no intention of acknowledging Wu Jing. I fell back onto my pillow and went back to sleep. Meanwhile, flushed with anger, she stubbornly dialed my number again, only to discover she'd been blocked. You've really got some nerve. Bai Xinyue had hit a wall trying to reach me. After sleeping in, I slowly got up and looked at the bunk across from me. I saw that it was already made with bedding, and I was the only one left in the dorm room. I sat in a daze for a moment, then I remembered what Bai Xinyue said about the trending topic. After turning on my phone, I opened Weibo, wanting to check on that trending topic about me again. But it turned out the trending topic had disappeared. Just as I was about to get out of bed, Wu Jing opened the door from the outside and came in. Bai, there's someone downstairs looking for you. Who's looking for me? It's Senior Shen from the finance department. I was a bit surprised. But when I thought about the trending topic from this morning, I immediately figured Shen Mian must be here to settle the score with me. Thinking that because of this trending topic, Shen Mian would hate me even more, I was suddenly filled with excitement. I cheerfully left the dorm. Shen Mian was holding the bag I had previously thrown on the ground, standing downstairs from the dorm. She was a beautiful sight. For her to show up in front of the men's dorm like this immediately attracted the attention of countless people. I walked up to Shen Mian. I braced myself for the storm, and I had even planned out how I was going to act. Shen Mian didn't mention breaking off the engagement, nor did she act like before, showing any disgust or aversion towards me. She just handed over the bag in her hand. Grandma wanted you to have this. I looked at the delicate bag she was handing me. It's not because Wu Ning didn't want it that you're giving it to me, is it, Shen Mian? I may like you, but I have my dignity. If you continue to be entangled with Wu Ning, I will use the same methods to get back at you. I thought to myself, I've already given her such a clear hint. It's about time you came to settle things with me over that online photo. Although the person in the photo is my older sister, as long as I don't tell Shen Mian won't know, and then she'll think I'm a player. Her disgust for me will deepen. This is just perfect. Once I find out who leaked the photo, I'll be sure to send them a reward. Shen Mian quietly listened to my inner thoughts. When she learned the person in the photo was Bai Shimeng, she was indeed a little surprised. So, the photo wasn't something he staged himself. Grandma asked me to bring you home for dinner. I'm curious if this gift was really meant for you. You can just ask her yourself when the time comes. After stuffing the gift into my hands, she gestured with her chin towards a car not far away. Seeing that things weren't going as I'd expected, my mind started racing. I have class today. I wasn't too keen on going back with Shen Mian. The way old Mrs. Shen looks at me is just too doting. Facing that kind old woman, I couldn't bring myself to refuse. Shen Mian crossed her arms. You used to try everything you could to come home with me. But now you don't want to. I've seen your class schedule. You don't have class this afternoon. I thought to myself, since when has this girl been paying so much attention to me? I haven't even looked at my own schedule. But she already has, so what excuse can I possibly use? Hearing my inner panic, Shen Mian couldn't help but chuckle. She turned away to hide a smile, then Shen Mian turned back around. She raised an eyebrow at me. I had no choice but to follow Shen Mian back to the Shen residence. As soon as I got out of the car, I stared blankly at the luxurious villa in front of me. No wonder people call Shen Mian the little princess of the Golden Circle. With her family background, she truly deserves that title. The two of us walked inside side by side, and saw Wu Ning walking towards us. I thought to myself, no wonder, why would Shen Mian suddenly be willing to bring me back with her? The photo scandal was all over the hot search, old Mrs. Shen must know about it. Shen Mian brought me here, and Wu Ning is here too. This must be a joint interrogation. So this is what she had in store for me. Let me think about how I should handle this. Should I deny it or confess? Shen Mian, hearing my inner thoughts, thought to herself. The inner workings of a boy's mind. She hasn't done anything, and he's already come up with all these crazy ideas. Let's go. Don't keep grandma waiting. Shen Mian took my hand and walked straight past Wu Ning. The smile on Wu Ning's face could no longer be maintained as she struggled to hide her true feelings. She stood there, trying to calm herself down. In the garden, old Mrs. Shen was dressed in a maroon kipao, standing in front of a bush of blooming roses. Enthusiastically trimming them, beside her, stood an old man, also with graying hair. We're back. Shen Mian led me over. The moment old Mrs. Shen turned and saw me, a smile immediately appeared on her face. Xiao Chuan, you're here. Hello, Grandma. Old Mrs. Shen came forward, pulled me away from Shen Mian's side, and then said to the old man next to her. Quick, have the maids bring the iced sweet dumplings from the fridge. Xiao Chuan loves them. I couldn't help but be a little surprised. How did the old lady know that I like to eat iced sweet dumplings? Wu Ning suddenly walked over. Grandma, Auntie Bai is here. I turned to see Bai's mother following behind Wu Ning. She walked right up to me. Neil, the sudden appearance of Bai's mother, surprised both me and Shen Mian. Old Mrs. Shen, however, gave Wu Ning a meaningful look, then reached out and pulled me behind her protectively. Mrs. Bai, even if you want to discipline a child, it also depends on the occasion. Old Mrs. Shen's attitude toward Mother Bai was like night and day compared to how she treated me just a second ago. She opened her mouth and immediately ordered her to kneel. Wake up, the Qing dynasty is long gone, you know. Of course, I wasn't about to pass up such a perfect opportunity to stir up some trouble. Shen Mian rubbed the bridge of his nose. He really wanted me to just give it a rest. Right now, Mother Bai was at the peak of her fury, all because she had received a text from a stranger. The message contained a photo of me at the hospital with some unknown woman. There was also some clickbait written by those trashy online media outlets. The photo had clearly been doctored. The woman was blurred out, but I was so clear it looked like a high-definition close-up right in my face. Back when Shen Mian and I first got engaged, everyone in the Bai family knew they were the ones marrying up. Upon hearing that I'd caused such a massive scandal, Mother Bai couldn't sit still for a moment. She came straight to the Shen's door to apologize. In the past, no matter how unreasonable I was being, I would still show some restraint out of respect for her as my elder. But now, not only did I refuse to admit I was wrong, I even started talking back with sarcastic remarks. Thinking she'd discipline me properly once we got home, she softened her tone toward the Shens. Old Mrs. Shen, it's my fault as a mother for not raising my son better. I never thought he would do something so shameful. Please, rest assured, the Bai family isn't the type to be shameless. Xiao Chuan has done so many ridiculous things. We really don't have the heart to keep bothering the Shens. Regarding the engagement between our families. Old madam, please just call it off. Me and her is such a good girl. She deserves someone better. She reached out, intending to pull me away. But who would have thought? Old Mrs. Shen didn't show the slightest sign of anger. She even pushed Mother Bai's hand away, her face cold and stern. The moment you walked in, you just started rambling on your own. From beginning to end, you haven't even asked Xiao Chuan what actually happened. Is this how you act as a mother, Mrs. Bai? Mother Bai was left speechless by the question. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. If you don't know what he did, old madam, then let me be the one to tell you. Old Mrs. Shen held my hand tightly. Don't be afraid. Grandma is here today. Grandma will stand up for you. Old Mrs. Shen's voice was so firm. I felt a slight, looking at the hand holding mine, a wave of warmth surged from deep within my heart. It seemed that whether in the past or the present, no one had ever been like this elderly lady. choosing me so resolutely. In this very moment, old Mrs. Shen felt more like real family to me than Mother Bai, my own biological mother. Shen Mian stood off to the side. He thought he might hear something through my inner thoughts, but strangely, I had become very quiet, letting old Mrs. Shen lead me into the living room. Everyone took their seats. Now, let me hear what this is all about. A bowl of iced glutinous rice balls was sitting on the table. Ignoring everyone else, old Mrs. Shen told me to eat. Her eyes were filled with unmistakable affection. Watching this, Wu Ning felt a sting of jealousy. He had lived with the Shen family for over 10 years, yet old Mrs. Shen had never treated him like this. About this matter with Xiao Chuan, Wu Ning stopped mid-sentence. He put on a very troubled expression. Even though I believe Xiao Chuan isn't that kind of person, this whole situation has still had a huge impact on the Shen family. If you have something to say, just say it straight. Stop beating around the bush. Old Madam Shen was getting a little impatient. Yes, just come right out and say that woman is pregnant with my child, and then you showed up at the hospital late at night for an abortion. The media has already written the headlines for you. Why can't you make proper use of it? Shen Mian and Mother Bai, who could hear my thoughts, almost lost their composure. Mother Bai, in particular, was getting antsy. Can this part of the mission be completed successfully? It all depends on whether Wu Ning can pull his weight. Last night, Xiao Chuan was photographed at the hospital with a woman. People online are saying they went to get an abortion. Old Madam Shen listened with a completely blank expression. She showed no reaction at all. Seeing that no one had any reaction, Wu Ning had the vague feeling that what he just said sounded like tattling. So he quickly pulled out his phone. This is the evidence I screenshotted this morning. Grandma, you can take a look. Old Madam Shen took the phone. Then she squinted her eyes to look at the photo. Just as I was waiting for old Madam Shen to explode, I heard her ask, who took this picture? Their skill is terrible. They made Xiao Chuan look so short. Mother Bai and Shen Mian remained perfectly still. Only Wu Ning was starting to freak out. How did things not develop the way he expected? Take down the name of the person who posted this on Weibo. And all those people who followed the trend to spread rumors. Sue them, one by one. Old Madam Shen handed the phone to Shen Mian. I was dumbfounded. What kind of magic potion did he feed old Madam Shen? How could she believe him so unconditionally? Couldn't let such a good opportunity pass. I put down the glass bowl in my hand. Before I could even speak, I was cut off by Shen Mian. The person in the photo is Big Sister Bai. This concerns the Bai family's reputation. Should we inform her? Mother Bai gritted her teeth. Of course. How dare they spread rumors? We have to sue them until they end up in jail. I looked up at the ceiling. How did Shen Mian know that the person in the photo was my older sister? He sent the screenshot to Bai Shimeng. Then, he made sure to completely delete the image from the phone. After all that was done, Shen Mian placed the phone on the table. I will handle matters like this from now on. Don't bother grandma with them again. Anyone could hear the warning in Shen Mian's voice to Wu Ning. Only I looked at Shen Mian with a sense of frustrated disappointment. I thought to myself, handle it, my foot. Can't you just follow the script? Did you grab the wrong one by mistake? I was actually a little upset. With the misunderstanding cleared up, it meant my mission progress was back to 0. But this was such a good opportunity. I felt it would be a pity if I didn't do something. I suddenly shot to my feet and first looked at Mother Bai, who was sitting across from me. Are you happy now? Humiliating me like this in front of Shen Mian. Are you satisfied now that you've stomped my dignity into the ground? Ever since I returned to this family, none of you have been willing to accept me. You think I'm not good enough to be the young master of the Bai family. My very existence is an embarrassment to all of you. If that's the case, why did you even look for me in the first place? Why not just leave me for dead? Without giving Mother Bai any chance to react, I turned and opened fire on Wu Ning. So, how does it feel, now that your deadly little plan has failed? You didn't get what you wanted. You must be feeling especially frustrated, right? Without a single thought for old Mrs. Shen's presence, I finished my explosive rant. I'm just waiting to see if I can salvage even a tiny bit of my mission progress. If he's still indifferent after all this, am I really going to have to find a third person for us? But even if I did, I'd have to find someone even more handsome than Shen Mian. Otherwise, I'd be the one getting the short end of the stick. Shen Mian looked like he had a massive headache. To stop me from causing any more chaos, he could only stand up and drag me away. Where are you taking me? I tried to wrench my arm away, but I realized Shen Mian was holding on tight. After Shen Mian hauled me off, old Mrs. Shen was the only one left in the living room, along with Wu Ning and Mother Bai. As for everything that had just unfolded, none of them had seen it coming. Mrs. Bai, the old lady, began. Chuan is the grandson-in-law I've set my heart on. I don't ever want to hear the words, calling off the engagement, again. As for you or the Bai family not wanting him to be the Shen's grandson-in-law, if you don't care for Chuan, then you'd better speak up and make it clear right now. The Shen family can more than afford to take care of him. If the Bais don't want him, the Shens will raise him. Though these words might sound a bit forward, please bear with me, Mrs. Bai. Bai Chuan has suffered more than enough since he was a little boy. Don't want him to feel mistreated ever again. If you don't welcome him, then just let him move in with me. Those words from old Mrs. Shen. Every single one was filled with such deep affection for me. Honestly, if we hadn't done a DNA test back then, even Mother Bai would have suspected I was the Shen's long-lost child. Wu Ning thought so too, but that only made him feel more threatened. Chuan and Shen Mian aren't married yet, he stammered. Wouldn't it be against the rules for him to move in? What rules? You aren't a member of the Shen family either. And yet, aren't you living under the Shen roof all the same? As soon as she said that, Wu Ning's face turned white as a sheet, and he couldn't utter a single word. But old Mrs. Shen didn't stop there. If you were smart, you would just appreciate your status as the child of a fallen hero and live your life quietly, instead of coming up with these twisted schemes. From the very start, old Mrs. Shen never really liked this two-faced child. But out of pity for his parents' death and his being all alone in the world, she had turned a blind eye to her son and daughter-in-law fostering him in their house. But that didn't mean she would tolerate him meddling in the Shen family's private business. As the matriarch who held the entire Shen family together, how could she not see through Wu Ning's petty little plans? Wu Ning's face was deathly pale as he struggled to force out 3 simple words. I understand. Then, he walked out of the living room as if he'd lost his soul. Mrs. Bai, you should head home. It's clear Chuan won't be going back with you today. This old woman is going to keep him here for a simple home-cooked meal. Mother Bai hesitated, but then she remembered my earlier accusations, so she had no choice but to give up. She stood up and bowed. Then I won't disturb you any longer. I apologize for the offense I've caused today. Please don't be angry, Madam Shen. Old Mrs. Shen just waved her hand. The person you should be apologizing to isn't me.